Welcome everyone to another episode of Heal the Healer, Mami Goddaughter Conversations.
Okay, well, we are going to start in our traditional way of giving honor and respect to all of those who have come before us. So I give honor to our temple in Benin and our great matriarch, our Queen Mother, Minonaye Bojito Enimaso II. I also give reverence and acknowledgement to our temple here in the U.S., Nazia Fa Spiritual Institute, which is led by our spiritual mother and leader, Mianu Ananasi. I give honor to all of my ancestors, all of the energies that come with me, and I greet you, Angel. Welcome.
Thank you.
So today, well, I guess we can start with a bit of a check-in and then get into the discussion. So just wanting to know how your week has been, how you feeling, any new developments, give your check-in.
I go. Thank you, Abasi. So continuing from the previous week, I made my lunch about 3 times last week. But those were very good days, so I'm good that I did that. I'm gonna keep working to doing it on a daily basis. Prepping does help a lot. Let's see. But overall, just trying to clean, like do deep cleaning, cleaning walls and things like that, like some real deep cleaning with and incorporating what I learned, like different spiritual techniques with the sweeping and what I can put into my water to help really not just clean surfacely, but clean energetically the energies of the house. Sometimes I think about the conversations I have in my house, and it's like, why are we arguing right now? Like, there is something else that just came and caused chaos and discord because this isn't even an issue for real. So I just felt the need to really do a deep energetic clean in the common areas of the house. So, but this week has been okay. It's weird that today's been a little, troubling, but yeah, just here and trying to move forward and take my time, do my part in it. I love you, love you, love you.
I'll go. Thanks for sharing. Yeah, today, I don't know if it's just the energy, but today has been a bit emotional. It's been like ups and downs. But this weekend was really good. Everything went very well. I got to spend, time with loved ones. People came in for the weekend, and so it was a really, really good time. It's emotional that they have to go back, but it's been good. I've been channeling my energy into cleaning, doing some gardening work, cleaning up the backyard. And so that's been the positive, I guess say alchemy of those big emotions. And what else did I do? I went for a walk, which was really nice, because we talked about doing things to pour back into myself, and so I took myself on a walk with ice cream. I was just by myself. I got all dressed up and did it. So that felt good. That was really nice. And just looking forward to doing more things that pour back into me. I try to start, like, I need to work out. That's one of the things. And so I tried to start doing Tai Chi and I kind of fell off on that. But I'm going to get back on, the yoga, the meditation side of things because that's what, I really like to do. And so this ongoing goal that I'm pushing myself, it's not perfect, but I'm pushing myself towards. But overall, the week has been very positive. So that's been great. I've been blessed about that. Yeah. So today, what we're going to talk about is some of the how to, let's say, how you deal with your own corruption. Miano has put out a new series on YouTube, and it's called As You Are in One Thing. And I know, Angel, you've been in a lot of the classes, and you may have heard her say this. We call it the Miano quote: "Is as you are in one thing, you are in all things." And this is more of a universal principle that you display as you interact with your environment. And so we wanted to talk about how you are and dealing with your own corruption. I would just want to ask, have you seen the video, the new series, As You Are in One Thing on YouTube? You haven't seen it yet. Okay, so I was thinking it's not long, so I was thinking we can watch it and then start discussing what you take from it and kind of break down the points. If yeah, so let me see if I can do this. Just a second. Uh, okay, let's see if I can share my screen. Okay, can you see the screen? Can you see me when I'm talking while it's going? Okay, 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 cool, 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 cool. All right, here we go.
All right, so this video, right? And the reason we're recording here again, I'm doing this one is because it's raining. It's been storming, which is beautiful. It's been rhythmic, but it's hard to get a taxi when it's raining. So we're just here, which is fine. All right. So I was pondering as I went through my feed about a week or so ago, and everybody was counting down to the rapture. I said, "What is this rapture business?" And it just got me to laughing and thinking about like how religion deals with like its corruption, right? Instead of dealing with corruption, it just kills it. It just puts it into the fiery depths of hell and destroys it. And I'm just like, okay, that's how religion deals with corruption. As you are in one thing, you are in all things. And then I look at, slavery. Of course, slavery. Why? Because I'm a descendant of slaves, and it's close to my heart. And I'm just like, instead of them trying to make right the wrongs that they did to my ancestors and forefathers, what do? They just try to destroy us and kill us. Mass incarceration, put us in poverty, keep us, kill our food, right? Poison our food. Do you know? Keep us.
Okay, I wanted to pause right there. So you remember maybe a month ago, everybody was talking about the rapture. That was crazy. So what do you think about the comment that she mentioned? A lot of people, it was it wasn't something for me that I associated with religion until you hear it out loud. Because if I go back to all of the stories, all of the, I don't want to say mythology, but yeah, mythology, all of the stories within religion, corruption is dealt with through destruction. You wipe it off of the face of the earth. You flood it off of the face of the earth. You throw it into the pits of hell. What else did, how else did they do? Oh, you crucify it. These are the ways that religion deals with corruption. How do you internalize that? Have you recognized that pattern within religion? And how do you view that now that you are on this spiritual path?
Okay, here we go. I go. That was a very interesting take on it. I didn't really think about it. But thinking about that, and I think I did see this one. This is when she was saying about how you deal with your own mess. And yeah, okay. So yeah, I thought about that in ways of like, wow. First, going back to what she was saying, that is how the world views. Like, whenever you want something gone, like you destroy it. You don't clean up your own mess. It's the way they clean it up, through destruction versus other ways. You could just clean it and you know what I mean? But it has to be thrown, like you said, in the pits of hell. It has to be destroyed. So that's something that's interesting to think of, the mindset of just everything. Everything doesn't have to be completely destroyed.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it is interesting. And I wonder what your take is on it, like how it relates to our society.
So for our society, yeah, like I can see that how things like it just builds hatred. I just think that builds a lot of hatred and not coming to terms and not a lot of acknowledging how we got here. You know what I mean? And really accountability. I don't see how that helps at all. You know what I mean? For things not to happen again. So I think just destroying it makes it so really people forget about it and then they're doomed to repeat the same type of things because we never recognize it and look at it and say, hey, this is where we went wrong. We need to learn from this. They just kind of destroy it, sweep it under the rug, and then we're forced and doomed to repeat cycles. So I feel like in society, we've done this over and over again, and we constantly just destroy ourselves versus looking at it and say, you know what? Instead of destroying this, we should have unified and changed, behavior.
Right. Yeah, I totally agree. I think that was one of the points that I thought of first, is that there's no evolution. There's no, learning that happens. The society, like you say, we just sweep it under the rug, and then your problems are still there. The feelings are still there. The history is still there. It doesn't really go away. And it makes me think of just the principle of, what is it? The principle of matter. Like nothing is destroyed, it just changes form. And that can be the same to be said about the corruption religion attacks, or that how our society deals with things, especially when talking about slavery, talking about all of the oppression that our people have gone through. Just for them to say, oh, you're free now, isn't everything, we wipe that away, isn't everything fine? No, it's not fine, and the society knows it's not fine, and so they don't want to see that either. And so what do? They poison us, they incarcerate us, they push us into poverty, they oppress us financially and educationally. Like they don't want to see us at the table. They don't want to see us in the room because they have to be reminded of the corruption. It's very interesting. Very interesting. Okay, let's continue. Let's see.
Kill our food, right? Poison our food. Do you know in the last 7 days, how many news articles I've read of radioactive shrimp, E. coli in the water, just all types of extreme poisons in the food, not to mention the normal poisons that they've been doing, like fluoride, fluoride in the water, right? That's a normal thing that messes with your brain. If you don't believe me, Google it, okay? um so it's like there's all of these things. Instead of just correcting what you do that's wrong, you want to just kill and destroy. It's like a child who doesn't clean up after himself, you know? Or better yet, here's a better one. It's like a person who doesn't clean themselves with water. And anyone who knows me, they know I clean myself with water. Here in Africa, every bathroom in my house has a bidet. Clean myself with water. Been cleaning myself with water for a long time, right? I teach purification. I teach cleaning with water. For me, if you aren't willing to get your own corruption, you ate the food, right? You did whatever, whether you cooked the food, you went and bought the food, you paid the money to have it delivered, whatever it was, energy you put into bringing the food to you, to get it in front of you. You got it there, and then you put it in your mouth, and you continue to put it into your mouth. You vested into that food. You chewed it, you digested it, put it into you. This is you in the corruption, right? This is you in your corruption. And so now your body is internalizing it. It comes out of you. Now you don't know the corruption. Now you don't know the food. Now you just get some paper and that's it. You can't be seen with the corruption. You don't touch your own. I'm not touching that shit. Excuse my French. But that's what you say. No. Why is that? Have you ever thought about that?
Pause. Okay, so why is that? Why do you think that is?
We don't want to see it. We don't want to see what we created. You know what I mean? Especially when you create that dark side of you. We don't want to see that. Excuse my friend. The mess. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to see the mess. You rather just like, I don't even want to look at it. I ain't gonna look back. I'm just gonna flush it and it's gone. Yeah, that's deep. Like, because when you look at all the messes that you make in your life, all the messes that we as human beings, we have a string of messes, and we don't want to look back, right? No one wants to look back at it. And be like, "Ugh." You know what I mean? Because if you look back, then you have to confront it and clean it up.
Mm.
You gotta confront it and be brave enough to like, ooh, I left a trail of destruction behind me. Like, you gotta confront something in yourself. Like, ooh. And shoot, that's a lot. And that can be scary, especially how long you let it go. The older you get, that's a longer look back, right? So, and man, confronting that is deep. Confronting that takes work. It stresses. That's a lot to clean up. But so yeah, that part is, and when you look at it through society, like you were saying, we are, I think, as society, as a people, as a Black people in the diaspora, we are the mess, right? And we're in their face. That's why they don't want to see us at the table. They don't want to see us in their boardrooms. They don't want to see us running pieces of government and office, because every time they look at us, they're forced to look at the mess they call, and the mess they refuse to clean up, and that they try to sweep under the rug, but we don't stay. We keep popping out like, we that piece that just don't want to flush. When you keep flushing, it just pops back out the toilet. we, we right here. Excuse me. Excuse me. So they hate it. They hate every time we show up and we do better and we show our greatness, even though they try to stomp us out. They try to discourage us and, make us inferior, but it doesn't work. But they don't want to face their mess by any means.
Hey, baby.
So yes, so it's a lot to unpack there. It's a lot to unpack there. A lot.
Yes, absolutely. I agree. It's like, but the kicker is, it's not that someone else force fed you the corruption. It's not, I mean, it's you're doing it to yourself. And so it's a level of accountability that people don't want to have. It's a level, it's easier to say it's somebody else's fault for the mess that is around me. It's easy to say somebody poisoned my food instead of saying I'm not choosing healthy options, right? Like, yeah, we know McDonald's is poison, but why would I go and then blame McDonald's for poisoning me? Like, that is what society does on a regular basis. This is what we do on a regular basis. And I just love the way she breaks it down and says, like, you bought the food, you ate the food, you prepared the food, like you have consumed you have chosen your consumption. And then it hits harder when she's like, you internalize it. We internalize it so much that we don't see the effect of what's happening until the waste is pushed out, the corruption is pushed out through our actions. So it's quite interesting, and I would think that the reason why we don't want to touch it is because even though our body, our spirit, our mind has internalized this corruption, we have a level of disassociation with what we do and what we put in and what we put out. We have a level of disassociation. Like, this is not part of me. Even if you want to break it down to, like, the physical, like, I'm, going defecating. I'm going number two. Like, when that shit come out, we don't think it's part of us. That's ew. Like, what? What is that? That didn't come out of me. Like, it was inside of you. It was was a part of you. And so we disassociate ourselves from anything that, like, our warped sense of reality doesn't support. And I think that's harmful, especially when we're trying to grow as spiritual people. So yeah, it's big. It's big. Do you know how what she means by clean with water?
So I think like not just talking about the bidet, but she means like I took it as like a spiritual cleansing, like we use water as part of a spiritual cleansing. So I might have thought further on it. But yeah, just with the bidet and I was like, oh, like a spiritual cleansing. That's how I took it.
No, I mean, yeah, you could definitely take it to the spiritual cleansing. Water is definitely spiritual, you know. It's important to clean with water. But even just down to like when you go to the bathroom, do you know what she means by cleaning with water?
The bidet, like just washing up and use
What
it.
what if you don't have a bidet? Do you know what she means by cleaning with water?
Oh, okay. I'm starting to understand.
Okay. Because even with a bidet, you don't have to touch your own. You don't have to touch your own mess. It's pretty high powered. It gets it. It gets it. But in let's say, yeah, I would say in our culture, like if you are out and you don't have a bidet, or if you're out in the bush, or if you're just at a place, because sometimes plumbing is not up to the standards that we're used to. In Benin, you can find that if you want to. But let's say you're out. Sometimes, I mean, there's no public restroom a lot of times to go to, or if you're out in the forest, what are you gonna do? So cleaning with water, you have your bucket filled. You go to the bathroom, you have your bucket and you clean with water. There's no tissue, towel, anything. So if you go number two, you have to take your hand and clean yourself with water. That's what she means by people not wanting, like, you are completely in touch with every part of you.
Yeah.
Every part of you is yours. And so you clean vigorously with that cup and bucket of water, and you are clean until you are clean. And then you wash your hands.
Okay.
Could you do that? No?
I don't know. That's. I guess if I had to, I think I could, cause I do variations of that, but again, of course, I'm in indoor plumbing, so I'm sure it's a little deeper. Um, once you're in it, you know what I mean? Like it's way deeper. So that's yeah,
Mhm.
that's something to do. That's a real reality check. Like I think at this point, everybody needs to do it.
No, like seriously. Seriously. You remember during COVID when everybody was just like selling out the store with what's it called? Toilet tissue was like flying off the shelves.
Right.
That's crazy to an African. It's like,
Like
do you have water?
that.
If you
Right.
have water, you have a bucket, what are you doing?
Right.
No toilet tissue, no problem. And in actuality, toilet tissue doesn't even get you clean.
No, right. That I yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm down.
That's
But
crazy.
you have to try because that's the epitome of what she's talking about. If you can't touch your own mess as you are in one thing.
Yeah.
Okay, let's keep going. Let's keep going.
I can't trust nobody who won't touch their own shit. I'm sorry. You could say drops mic. Me personally, I cannot trust anyone who has a problem touching his own shit. Because if you have a problem cleaning yourself, this means you have a problem looking at your corruption. You have a problem looking at your dirtiness, examining your dirtiness. Ah, look at how dirty I am. This is what I need to clean on me. Ah, how? Some of you would know you have parasites if you looked at your stools. Some of you would know you had disease if you looked at your stools. Can't get you to do that. Take the toilet paper, boom, flush it, never look at your corruption. No, I can't trust somebody who doesn't clean with water. Okay? You have to. Our people, African people, who we are as African, and I'm not saying this as one of those people. I'm not saying this as like, there's pastors on there. I'm not a pastor. That's not who I am. Am I a priest? Am I a Mianu? Yes. But you know who I am? I'm a child of a 16 and a 19-year-old kid. That's who I am. There's two kids who came together and had a baby. I was that baby. And they raised that child the best they could. And in my childhood, as I grew up, I had a lot of grudges. And when I became an adult and I got tired of blaming my parents for what they didn't do, how they didn't raise me, what they didn't teach me, and I took accountability for my life. And I set about learning the things that I felt like I needed to know. And I set about learning who I was. Who am I? I started learning who am I? What does that? I started at the basics because 16 and a 19-year-old, they didn't even know to start there, okay? And so what I learned as an African person, as African people, we're not afraid of our corruption. We're not afraid of our dirtiness. We're not afraid of water. We know that water cleans, water purifies. Water is our spirituality. It is cleansing. And so when you look at who we are indigenously in our DNA, what's indigenous to us and the rest of this world and the way it operates, those who are in control of it and the way they operate, they don't operate the same ones. They're destroyers. They destroy. They don't cleanse. They don't clean. They don't create. They don't correct. No, there's cycles. And so you have to not fall into the trap of chaos. Okay? You have to understand when your corruption is coming out. It's okay. Clean yourself. Acknowledge I'm dirty. When someone comes to you and they say, "You offended me, sis," and they bring corruption to you, don't try to kill them. Don't try to destroy them. Acknowledge it. Man, maybe. Okay, my bad. Let me take a look at that. Right? Cool water. Pour water on it. Clean it. Mend that relationship. Be your African self. Anyway, there's more examples I can give, But as you are in one thing, you are in all things. It was just funny to me how, whether it was religion, whether it was uh, slavery, in every example, you're dealing with the colonizer. Whenever they made a mistake in human history, whenever they fucked up, they just want to destroy and sweep it under the rug. Nah, acknowledge it. Acknowledge your mistake. Correct it. I don't know. Let's see. What you guys think about this message? Let me know in the comments below.
Let me see how I stop sharing it. All right, here we go. Stop. Am I still sharing? Okay, cool. All right. So, what did you think? Let me go back a little bit. What did you think about the concept, or not even the concept, the reality of cleansing versus destroying? I hadn't heard it said like that before, but cleansing versus destroying. What do you think the main differences in between those two are?
I think, like we said, acknowledgement, the acknowledgement and recognizing. And then, like she said at the end, it's the mending. You know what I mean? I think that's crucial. Because you can't F up a relationship. Sweep it under, never acknowledge your mistake in it, your part in it, and then go back like it's like, oh, we're good. You know, this is better now. I changed my actions. I did some changes. Even if you work on, you did good. You cleaned the wall. Good job. High five. High five. Thank you. You need more? Do you have enough there? Wipe that spot for me. Yep, right there. Okay. So, so it's it's the acknowledgement. You know what I mean? That cleansing with water is a big acknowledgement in that. So it's just seeing the process like, okay, we made a mistake. Our relationship was broken. I did something that make you not trust me anymore. Whatever it is, there has to be an acknowledgement aspect, and there has to be a conversation. And so in both people, there has to be a forgiveness on that or acceptance. And then we can move forward with change. We can't move forward with the change. You know what I mean? Your destruction, whatever happened, it's just always going to be there until you have that whole process down. So that cleansing with water is like that process, water holds memory. And so as it clean, but it also cycles. So I feel like you don't forget it. You always know, but you have an acceptance and something to work toward. So I feel like the water, cleansing with water is a crucial part of that process of being able to move forward without forgetting, without just trying to sweep it under the rug. I feel.
Yeah, I agree with that. When I heard her say that, it also reminded me of the differences between how something is cleansed versus destroyed, because it's like destruction is is a cleansing as well. You can cleanse by fire or you can cleanse by water. So there is a element of cleansing in destruction, but the property of water shows you the pathway cleansing is happening, because you mentioned water is purification, spirituality, And when I think about cleansing, I'm thinking more on whatever corruption is coming out, whatever mess there is, I'm using spirituality. I'm using, purification. I'm trying to purify this situation. I'm trying to use my spirituality, use my tradition in order to transform the situation. It's more of a transformation to me than destruction, because destruction just removes the corruption, or even I'll say, I think we don't really understand, because when I think about destruction, I think of fire. I think of fire. And the property of fire is, in mainstream, it's destruction, but really it's alchemy. Like, really, fire transforms one thing to another thing. So it's like we use destruction because we don't want to recognize this thing as what it is. So we'll burn it down and turn it to ashes, but you still have this mess. You still have this thing that you have to cleanse. You're gonna, if you take, if you take wood and you burn it to ash, you still got to clean up that ash, and it's not gonna go away on its own. So it's like fire, destruction, you've just changed form of something, but cleansing is actually purifying it. And, like, yeah, is purifying it. And so I think those two things are what's so very, very different. And I love that, when you think about African people, culturally, traditionally, spiritually, we are not afraid of our own mess, of our own dirtiness. We're always looking and seeing where is our corruption, and how can we cleanse it to elevate to the next level, to evolve as a society, to evolve as a person. So I think it's more about evolution and growth than it is just being comfortable about what's around you, because we all have corruption. Yeah, we all have corruption. Okay. So I would say, what about, like, a real life experience that you've had? Yeah, what about a real life experience that you've had that displays some of these principles?
I go, I go. Um, so I mean, for me, it's part of my life. Like, I have grown kids. Looking at my real life ability, like my own things, I was a runner. I ran from my problems. You know what I mean? I did that for a big part of my life. Even after I had my kids, I would run in different kind of ways. Either you run the work, or so we over assess over things, right? But part of that, what does that do to the kids? So a single parent overworking, it can lead them feeling abandonment issues or whatever. And we can hide behind the justification like, oh, well, I had to work. But at the same time, it really doesn't matter, right? The kids' feelings are still valid. It's abandonment. No matter what you did to do it, it's abandonment. And so, and they have to process that and work through that. And so for me, it's acknowledging those real things and the real feelings, no matter what I tell myself, you know what I mean? If the reason of why they're still um, they still have their feelings. And so just starting to heal that and come back. And I had to first turn and look at it, right? I had to turn around and look at my destruction like, ooh, okay, yeah, I did that. I can see that I did that, and had that conversation with them, like, what's going on with you guys? Why are we here in this present situation? What are you feeling? And they had to acknowledge, some things. Some was me, some was other stuff. But anyway, so that was a real um situation in my life that I'm dealing with my adult children, and them going back and thinking and trying to heal that part of themselves, and for them not to do it continually, right? They have children now, for them not to be that mother, so that how do we not have this show up? And so yeah, working through that, mending that, acknowledging that is all things me and my household are doing currently, and not easy. That's not a easy thing to do, but it's definitely a necessary thing to do to move forward. I didn't want to destroy it. I didn't want to invalidate them, just destroy it like, oh, girl, bye, get over it. You're in your 20s. You got a whole family. You don't be blaming me for your problems. You know what I mean? That would just be destroying it like it didn't happen. So, like, no, yeah, I had to listen and take accountability, and then be with them for the change. It's not something I'm saying, okay, I admitted it and just walked away. It's like, I'm here for you. Now, how do we not do that for these other little ones? What do you need now? Do you need me to help you and be over here more? Do we need to pull together and live together so that as you're working, they're not having this abandonment thing? Because we're going to help fill gaps so that they don't feel like that. You know what I mean? So they don't have these issues. They have their own issues, not this one though. So yeah, that's my real world thing. I love you, love you, love you.
Go. I think that's beautiful. You mentioned like not just acknowledging the issue, but actually formulating a plan to help deal with the issue or to heal it or to make a plan going forward. And I know you mentioned in previous times that you're living communally. And I think that is a great, great, great solution, because that's how we do in traditions. We live communally so that if you do have to work, if you do have obligations, if you do have to be away, there's other mothers there, there's no gap in covering for the children. And so they don't have that issue. And so I think that's beautiful. I just want to check in with you about the living community. Like, how is it going? How, has the benefits blossomed itself out? Have you been able to do more? Like, how is that? Tell everybody how that is.
So some things, let's see, benefits. We're working on renovating the bathroom. Still doing a lot of renovations, but just it's a blessing to be able to have that and do them. So that was nice, and not be so stressed out about it. We're all right now. We're still kind of healing and maneuvering. It's a lot of little things going on with so many generations in a house. If there's 1, 2, 3, 4, we have 4 generations in a house, so it is quite a bit. But yeah, I feel like we positive about it. Some people are not seeing the bigger picture, but I'm like, listen, but we aren't where we started. This is not a fast process. This is a slow process, and we have a lot to do, financially, spiritually, saying energetically. We have a lot to encumber here. We just merged 4 different households, 4 generations, you know what I mean? And something that a lot of people around us have not done. So, well, this is groundbreaking, but And I told them yesterday, I said, listen, they're like, we're still here. I said, well, we're better to build a foundation than at the bottom. You don't build foundations at the top, you guys. You know what I mean? We build foundations at the bottom. You build your empire ground up. So we are right where we're supposed to be. And I'm excited for the foundation. I think it's different. My kids haven't, I witnessed a house being built ground up, right? You get excited for it when they break that first ground, you know what I mean? With the shovel. You get excited when the cement is getting laid. You get excited when you can start seeing your floor plan, like, oh, okay, that's where the living room gonna be, the kitchen, and you know what I mean? I seen it, so I can see the excitement. They're kind of confused, and I'll keep trying to tell them, like, when you're watching something get built from the ground up, baby, you get excited about that first dirt that gets, dug up. As soon as that cement is laid, those poles that are set there, the wood that starts to go for the dividers. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, you're excited once your house is first built, but that excitement starts long, long before, because you can see the bigger picture. So, everybody got their own means of excitement and blossoming, but I'm super excited because we are where we're supposed to be. We had to tear everything down. Like, yes, you don't have what you had. All that had to go. You didn't really have it anyway. It was on shaky foundation. It wasn't on good soil. We had to start from the beginning, baby. So I'm excited, and like, I know where it's going. I can see the future being set. So, yeah. Lafayette.
I go. Yep, it takes a visionary. Not everyone is visionary. Not everyone gets excited when the ground is cleared. No, that's great. I hope that they get on, everybody get on board. I know that community meetings help keeping everybody on track, so hopefully you can kind of start to establish some type of bones to how the family is governed. If you don't have it, already, is something to think about, like having a council, a governing body for, and that might just be you, your mom, and your daughter, having that council together and making sure that everybody is on the same page and knows their part to play. I think it's really helpful. For me, I will say that my real life experience, well, the one experience has both sides. So one experience had both sides, meaning where I just opted to destroy instead of cleanse. And now I have to cleanse. Meaning yeah, now I have to cleanse all the ashes in the mess that I burned down. And what I'm speaking to is my marriage. Like, it's over completely. And it was like a really toxic situation. And it's almost it is as if the more success that I had, the more growth that I had, the more I walked along my path, the more resistance my husband took towards me. More resistance, meaning even more like agitation that he had, resentment that he had for me, which I now see as a lot of jealousy. And your partner shouldn't have jealousy towards you. And there was just a lot of toxic, violent situations that when I look back at, I'm going through, this whole custody and, divorce and all of these things, and it's a mess. It's a mess, and it's a mess because I didn't cleanse the situation when I should have. Like I can go back and I can say, oh, he's a terrible person, or oh, he was a terrible husband and he did this, that, and that to me. But at the end of the day, I wasn't ready to deal with the corruption that was being pressed out of this relationship, out of my family. I wasn't ready to deal with the corruption in the family. I thought if I dealt with it, then my son would see it. And I don't want him to be affected by it. So let me just push it away. Let me just deal with it on my own. Let me not, press the stop button on this on this train. And because I didn't do that, because I didn't face the corruption, my corruption, I let my family wallow like in the waste, and it hurt everyone, you know and it not just me, not just my husband, but my son as well, because in cleaning up everything, that he's affected greatly. And that was the one thing that I didn't want to happen. The reason why I wasn't dealing with the corruption is because I didn't want to affect him, but this is what happened anyway. And so now that I'm going through the steps to deal with it, I can only take accountability for the fact that I didn't respect myself enough. I didn't, you know, I didn't I didn't respect myself enough. I didn't, you know, say this is enough, right? Or I didn't say, I was too afraid of what other people would think. So I didn't, I didn't move in the way that I should. Ultimately, it's my mistake. People are going to be who they are. And when they show you who they are, you have the choice to change. You have the choice to move, change your environment, be bold. And I didn't do that. And so now I decided I'm done finally. I make a hard break, and I have to clean up all the mess from that hard break, from that just destroying let me just destroy it. Now it's too much, I need to burn it down. And now I have to deal with cleaning up and reorganizing and, building the family from scratch and, doing the hard battles that I have to do. But I have to do it with, I have to be pure. I have to do it with spirituality. I have to remember who I am. I have to cleanse rather than just destroy. And so that's where I am now. I'm in that cleansing mode, and it's not easy. It's not easy, but it's just a lesson that, you have to respect yourself. You have to recognize that you have a choice in how your life is going to be. And just because there is mess doesn't mean you hide it because of what other people are going to think. Doesn't mean, you hide it just because you're not ready, or you're hoping that the mess will miraculously turn into gold. Like, it's not gonna happen. And so, yeah, I had to, and really, like, I've been going through this for months, but like I had to really sit down, because I was finding myself getting like really angry at him through the whole process. Like, why is he making this difficult? Why is he battling me like this? And I'm just like, I have to just take accountability that this is my fault. Like, I made it harder than it could have been. I could have left when my son was 2. And none of this would be happening. And so, and my son is turning 9. So I have to take accountability that there was this one meme, this lady, she was like a psychic, and she was saying like, yeah, just because we see, you know, a negative person coming or a negative situation coming into your life, yeah, it's gonna happen, but that doesn't mean you have to prolong it and sit in it just because you saw it coming, like just because you saw it in your destiny or saw it in the future, like you deal with it, you deal with the experience, and you cut it short because you know it's coming. Like you you move out of that situation. And so that's what, like, I just have to remember myself and all the things that I do. And it's true, as you are in one thing, you are in all things. It's just maybe the Leo in me. I just be sticking around, just loyal to a fault. I'm prideful. I don't want nobody knowing my dirt. Like, it's, it's definitely the energy that I have. And so those are the things that I have to really, really work on, and be mindful of at all times. But yeah, like I in this one situation, I didn't destroyed, made a whole bunch of mess, didn't look at it, didn't want to look at it, didn't want to deal with it until now. I'm forced to deal with it because somebody else is walking in a mess, you know? So yeah, that's my real life story. My real life story. Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, we got about 30 minutes left before the next session. Is there anything else that this as you are in one thing brings up for you? Anything else you want to share?
I don't know. First, you're doing a acknowledging and cleaning up the mess is definitely, just part of the process, and it doesn't all happen in one moment. I just was thinking about what Mama Shun was saying last week, and just helped me just bring focus. Like, you're one piece of the puzzle. It's not all the things. So when you're cleaning up your stuff, everything's not gonna look picture perfect. And I think in my mind I would get overwhelmed because I'm like, no, I'm doing the stuff. Like, it should be picture perfect. I want it picture perfect, but that's okay. So that's really helped me on my outlook. Um, but so with the topic, I don't know. I think we talked about a lot of things. For me, there's not much to bring up. I know I was thinking before I started this class, like how teaching an elder, you know what I mean, and how that looks. Uh, any words of encouragement about that, or any experience you've had on educating our elders about about how we are in the diaspora and ATR tradition, like, so for an elder that doesn't recognize that or isn't um, versed in those things, how do you go about kind of teaching it to someone that's very set in what they know? I feel like.
I'll go. Yeah, that's it's difficult because it's that way of information moving up is not part of our culture. Like, information moves down. And so it's like how I see, just in my own experience and the people around me, and what Miano tells us and teaches is that it's through observation of you, how consistent you are with upholding the principles of our culture and traditions. And when they see you, they have it's like you give them the respect to internalize it and change on their own, because they have such a wealth of knowledge, experience, that you can't really just say, or you should not say, this is how you do things, you know? But we can be creative, right? Like if you pour libations every day, your elders are gonna see that, and they might ask question like, what are you doing? Or why do you do that? That's your chance to be like, oh, to honor, my ancestors, to bring good energy, to pray. This is what I've learned. And you be humble about, this is what I've learned, and, going with my traditions. Or when they see that you're bringing them gifts, or you're, making sure you're serving them, right? You're greeting them. When you start living those traditions and you're consistent, they're gonna be like, okay, what's that? They might ask questions or they might not ask questions, but they may say they want to participate. Why do you always put food on the altar? What does that do? They might ask, or they might start seeing it. And you don't know. They might, put a piece of fruit on there or something, for the next time. Like that's how we teach, our elders. I know, like my mom, she would, and it's but from your behavior too. Like she would say things like, oh, I know you are practicing that, this tradition. She's like, I can tell that things have changed about you, because in this situation you would have got really, really angry, and so, and it's like, she's like, and you just move through it. You didn't fight, you didn't, do anything. And so she was like, that I see how it's changing you. That made her respect traditions. It made her respect more what I was doing, and then made her curious. Even my father, like, curious. And they, I remember they started sending me stuff. Like they started sending me like, oh, I got this book on ancient Kemet and this, that, and the other. And I'm like, oh. They're like, you should really read it. Da, da, da. Sure. And so I would read it and then we would talk, and I would use that opportunity to share what I learned with them as well, that went along with what they were showing me, or now my mom, she'll send me like the other day she sent me this prayer. It's like an incantation that she found on Facebook from Ifa. Like it's about like battling. She said it was like a woman beating the drum, and it said something like, when your enemy beats the drum against you, may they be compelled to dance to their own drum. I was like, oh, yes, mom, yes. I was like, that hit hard. I had to save it. I had to save it in my phone. I said, oh, okay, so the energy of this year with the mothers being strong is with you, because I receive that. Thank you. And she would have never sent that to me a couple of years ago, has she not seen the growth and development, the consistency that I was putting in with the tradition. So that's what I would give to you. Like, just be open, be consistent, be, of good character, and they will start noticing. and may start asking questions, would give you an opportunity to share as much as you can. Or even it's like during the holidays, you could even try it. Like, okay, Halloween. We in traditions, Halloween, the whole month of October is for ancestors. And Halloween for us is a big time to honor our ancestors, much like in Latin culture where they do the Day of the Dead. We have like big festivals and everything like that, and in Benin. So it's like doing things like that, like trying to, incorporate that into the family. Like, oh, it's Halloween. Instead of, trick or treating, or instead of, celebrating in the way that the European does, let's prepare a feast. Let's, put food on the altar. Let's, spend some time talking about ancestors. Like, let's spend some time with them. Like, try to see if they're open to that. And if they're not, you just do. And they'll start to open up and learn in that way. What do you think about that?
Yeah, those seem like great ideas. I think you're right. There go that consistency. You know what I mean? That is like the word of the year. Consistency, discipline, and really not just holding the knowledge, but using it consistently. Not using it when I'm in turmoil, but using it consistently. So thank you. That really reiterated some things that I needed to hear. Some things like it's like, yeah, like I love collecting knowledge, right? I heard of those things, but it's like, Angel, you're not being consistent in them. And then your big sister just told you to do it. So I am more in tune to like, that's what we're gonna work on. That's what we're gonna start doing. I'm trying to be very consistent in my traditions and the knowledge I've gained. I love you, love you, love you.
Yeah. Yep, that's how we do. And, everybody learns then. The kids, everybody around you learns then. So I think that's beautiful. Yeah. I was thinking about something else, like, and I just lost it. Okay. I had a question. How, for you personally, how do you deal with your corruption when it comes up? Like, is there a trigger? And then how do you deal with your corruption when it comes up? What is your thing?
As it comes up, I'm still working on that. I have to say, I think initially, told you I'm a runner. Like my first thing is flight. I don't know, anything comes up that I don't like. My first thought is flight. Like get away from it, far away. I've been trying to be more disciplined from not walking away when I'm triggered, when things aren't going well. So when I guess now, if something's bothering me, if my first thought is like, girl, just walk away from that, I'm starting to think, you know what? You might need to stand and face this. Let's figure this out. Don't walk away. So at this very moment, when things are very personal to me or something comes up that I don't like, right now my only thought and my discipline is to stay put. Like I literally grip the floor sometimes with my feet, like don't move. Okay, let's. There's a couple of things. If I'm pissed off, like okay, take you a deep breath. Okay, center yourself. Let's think logically what's really going on right now. And then dealing and moving forward. Those are my first thoughts. Well, I guess my second thought. My first thought is go. Bye. You ain't gotta deal with this. But you do, you know what I'm saying? But now I know that I can't do that. So my second thoughts are grip the floor, take a deep breath, think about this logically, what's really going on. Listen to what this person is saying and not saying. You know what I mean? Because people say a lot of things and they can say, oh, it's because you did this. But what are they not saying? What do that really mean? And how can you express this? Because first we got to get an understanding of what we're really talking about here. What's the real problem? I can't even come up with solutions because you're just shouting insults at me or you're shouting problems at me. And, these aren't really the issue. You brought this up because you're feeling what? Are you feeling abandoned? Are you sad? Are you feeling, a lack of support? Are you, you want your need to be right? Is it an ego thing or, you know what I mean? What are we dealing with? So, for me, that's what I've been I feel like I've been doing a lot better with that and teaching that to, with my kids, trying to get them to see, hey, instead of saying when you gotta confronting a problem, instead of saying something like, take you out of the phrases, whatever you're talking to somebody, take out that you and see like how is it making you, yourself feel. So say like I had some kids having an issue and they were like, oh yeah, when you're not on time to pick me up. So it's like, okay, take you out of it. I'm like, okay. When I'm left at school, past other kids being left at school, I feel, like no one cares. I'm like, oh, you know what? Now we're down to the problem. Here we go. Now we're down to something that I can help you with, Now I can, think about that a little deeper. Because, of course, I don't want you to feel like nobody cares about you. We all love you. Yeah, we can say that, right? But our actions, she looking at me like, well, I don't show it because there's only 3 people left in the gym when by the time you kind of pick me up. Like, I got you. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, okay, now we're getting somewhere. I need to be there earlier than, they give you ranges. You know what I mean? But it could have went a totally different way if I were did my first instinct and just walked away and left. Like, girl, I ain't trying to deal with that. You talking about what time I picked you up? I picked you up. Like, you know what I'm saying? The police didn't have to bring you home. Like, I don't know. I say a lot of things, but working at that has helped a whole lot. That conversation goes a completely different way. You know what I mean? And I'm able to stay and sit in it and get to the solution before there's 20 years of them being left with 3 people. You know what I mean? We're talking about this is 3rd grade. And my granddaughter was able to express herself in that manner. And now I'm always thinking the earlier time frame of her pickup. You know what I mean? I'm there in line before the school bell, is dismissed. Now we don't have to think about that. You know what I mean? So so that's how I deal with my corruption when I'm showing up, because I'm kind of a late type of person. So that's how I deal with my stuff. When I hear it, when it's addressed, when it comes face to face to me, and I'm looking at my corruption, I'm able to stop, not run from it, not just wipe it in flesh. I can look at it and see what's going on with it. Yeah, that's how I do mine. I feel.
Go. Yeah, that's beautiful. So your instinct, when you feel like you want to run, that's when you know corruption is coming, is there. Okay, cool. For me, it's when I get angry. Because I have a temper. And so when I get angry, I know that that's corruption coming out. And it's like the question I have to like sit in it. And the question that I have to always ask myself is, why does this make me, you know? Yeah, why does this make me angry? Even if it's something justifiable, like somebody wronged me or offended me, if the question is always like, why does this make you angry? There's some level of corruption there that's coming out. Like, this makes you angry? Like, because you could always choose, like you say, okay, this environment is not good for me. This interaction with this person is offending me, so I'm going to move like water and continue. Like, why is it that this is making me? Is it a self-esteem issue? Is it a self-respect issue? Did they hit a trigger of trauma? Like, why am I angry? Um, that always is an indicator for me that there's some level of corruption that I need to address. Even if it's down to, I made a mistake and that makes me angry. Why does that, what was that mistake? Why does that make, I really have to like logically back myself into what is the root cause of the issue when I'm angry, because there's really, in my mind, it doesn't sound right when I say there's no justification for anger, but it is like there's no justification because, again, you can move like water and make decisions for yourself that keep your peace. So, and me being angry does not like it is not the justification, right? Like a lot of people think like if you offended me and I'm angry, like I'm justified. That punishes you somehow. It doesn't. So yeah, like that's for me what it is, and I'm really lucky or blessed to have being living communally, being in a community, because that's another thing. You cannot live communally and not be corrected or shown your corruption. You can't hide it. And a lot of times we live by ourselves and there's no one to show us our ear. There's no one to say, why did you treat me like that? Why are you not cleaning that? What is this habit that you have? Like, there's no one to say that. Why are you spending like this? Like there's no one to say that. Where did you come from? Why are you, who are you? Why are you so goddamn late? Like, there's no one to say that, and it really lets you wallow in your corruption. So I am lucky, I am blessed to be in a community that there's always someone to say like, you seem a little off. What's going on? Or why did you, this wasn't right? Like, why did you correct? And that's another way. So that's how I deal with mine, and I'm open to correction, even when I'm like not, even when I don't want to hear it, being part of a community, being part of a hierarchy, like you just have to be open to correction, and you go back and you deal with all your emotions that you have with it, deal with it and process it and move forward. So yeah. Okay. Well, oh, you have something?
Yeah, I just agreeing. That's really, really deep. I be thinking about all that too. Like, ooh, why did that make me mad just now? Just because somebody bringing something to my attention. You know what I mean? That's ego, perfectionism. Like, those are all learned behaviors. Like, going through that. Ooh, that's all that work you be trying. You think you've done some work. Like, no, I worked on that. Thought I worked on that. until just now when you brought me something that just, you know what I'm saying? I was thinking like, I'm not about to deal with this right now. To go. I'm like, oh, I gotta sit in this. So yeah, that's it. It is. That's so serious. And you're right. Living communally, it's like living in a wall of mirrors, especially when it's your real family and who you birth. And so it's like when I say, you know, your kids are the biggest mirror. They mirror you in all. I hate to say the worst ways, but all the little things that you might not have consciously, you know, associated with yourself. Oh, your kid is that manifested threefold, and you're just looking like, oh, that's me. That's that side of me I don't really like to deal with that much, and now I got to deal with it. Fourfold for me. Four. So I see all different sides of me that I had to deal with, and yes, and staying put in that is something serious. I'll just be looking like, okay, yep. And then, but it's also beautiful because when it's your family, you can help them, you know, like, okay, I dealt with it. Ooh, it's tough. I get it. And you can really say, I get it without it just being like, oh, yeah, I understand. But no, I get it. It runs deep. And this is how I transmitted it. This is how I dealt with it. So yeah, it's living community is definitely something. I think the community in America is gonna start to figure out, because the way this economy is going, you ain't gonna have a choice but have some kind of roommate, you know, move in with your family again. Wherever you're gonna do, not many people are going to be able to afford to be alone anymore. We have to come together. It's just no other way. That's how things are moving. So this is going to be interesting how society starts to, you know, grow and develop. A lot of foundational work we're coming into.
Very true. Very true. Well said. Well said. Okay, well, we're coming to the end, but this was a really, really, really good conversation. I'm glad you joined. I'm
Yeah.
glad you made it. Hopefully, I'll see you at the next session. But until next time, as you are in one thing, you are in all things. We have to remember that and let that be an indication of like how we heal ourselves and how we move forward. When we see that corruption come up, we gotta think, where else is that coming up? What other things can I improve on? Okay. Well, you have a good one, and we'll see you next time. Alafia.
I love you.